Jake Martinez floated in the metal corridor of the strange ship. His boots made soft sounds on the floor as he walked. The ship was old, very old. Jake could tell because everything looked different from human ships. The walls were smooth and curved. Strange lights glowed softly in patterns he had never seen before. "This place gives me the creeps," said Tom Johnson. He was walking behind Jake with his scanner in his hands. The scanner beeped quietly as it checked the air. "Stop being scared," Jake said with a grin. "It's just an old ship. What's the worst thing that could happen?" Captain Lisa Brown spoke through their radio. "Jake, be careful in there. We don't know what this ship can do. It's been floating in space for thousands of years, but it still has power." Jake touched his radio. "Don't worry, Captain. We're just looking around. If something bad happens, we'll run back to our ship very fast." The team had 6 people. Jake was the leader because he knew about old things. Dr. Alex Turner was with them to study any alien life they might find. The other 4 were soldiers to keep them safe. They had been walking through the ship for 2 hours. Most of the rooms were empty. Some had strange machines that still worked. Dr. Turner took pictures of everything with his camera. "Jake, look at this," called Amy Price. She was one of the soldiers. She stood in front of a big door that was different from the others. This door had symbols carved into it. The symbols glowed with blue light. Jake walked over to look. "What do you think it says?" Dr. Turner came running with his scanner. "The energy readings are much stronger here. Whatever is behind this door is important." Jake pushed on the door. It was heavy, but it moved. The door opened slowly with a deep humming sound. Cool air came out of the room. Inside was a huge round room. The ceiling was very high. In the center of the room stood something that made everyone stop and stare. It looked like a crystal cage. Inside the cage was a person, but this person was not human. She looked almost human, but her skin was pale blue. Her hair was long and white like snow. She wore clothes that looked like they were made of metal and cloth together. "Is she alive?" whispered Tom. Dr. Turner held up his scanner. "Yes. The readings show she is alive but sleeping. The crystal cage is keeping her that way." Jake walked closer to the cage. The woman inside was beautiful in a strange way. Her face looked peaceful but also sad. There was a metal plate near the bottom of the cage with writing on it. "Can anyone read this?" Jake asked. Dr. Turner took pictures of the writing. "I'll need time to study it, but look at this technology. This cage has been working for thousands of years without breaking." "Who do you think she is?" asked Amy. "Maybe a prisoner," said Jake. "This whole ship feels like a jail." The soldiers spread out around the room to check for danger. Dr. Turner kept taking pictures and readings. Jake just stood looking at the woman in the crystal cage. "She's pretty," said Tom with a laugh. "Too bad she's been sleeping for so long." "Yeah," Jake said. Then he got an idea that made him smile. "Hey, Tom, dare me to wake her up with a kiss? Like in those old fairy tales?" "Jake, don't be stupid," said Dr. Turner. "We don't know what will happen if we touch anything." But Tom laughed. "I dare you. What's the worst that could happen? She's been sleeping for thousands of years." Jake had always been the kind of person who took dares. His friends said he was too brave for his own good. His mother always told him his mouth would get him in trouble someday. "Jake, this is not a good idea," said Amy. "We should go back and tell the captain what we found." But Jake was already walking up to the crystal cage. The surface looked smooth like glass, but it felt warm when he got close to it. "This is for science," Jake said with a big grin. He leaned forward and pressed his lips against the crystal surface where the woman's lips were on the other side. The moment his lips touched the crystal, everything changed. The crystal began to crack. Lines of light spread out from where Jake touched it. The humming sound got louder and louder. The lights in the room began flashing. "Jake, get away from there!" shouted Dr. Turner, but Jake couldn't move. His lips were stuck to the crystal. Energy flowed through him like lightning. He could feel the woman's mind touching his mind. The crystal cage exploded into pieces. The woman fell forward, and Jake caught her in his arms. She was warm and breathing. Slowly her eyes opened. They were gold like the sun. When she looked at Jake, he felt like she could see everything about him. The ship around them began to wake up. Machines that had been quiet for thousands of years started working again. New lights turned on. The air began to move. The woman stood up in Jake's arms. She was tall and strong. When she spoke, her voice was clear and beautiful. But her words made Jake's blood turn cold. "Foolish human," she said in perfect English. "You have no idea what you have done. My name is Lyra Voss. I have been sleeping here for 3,000 years, waiting for someone brave enough or stupid enough to free me." She looked directly into Jake's eyes. "Now, you share my punishment." All around them, the ancient ship came back to life with sounds like thunder. Jake stepped back from the tall woman with golden eyes. His heart was beating very fast. The ship around them was making loud noises as old machines started working again. "What do you mean I share your punishment?" Jake asked. His voice was not as brave as before. Lyra Voss looked around the room. She moved like a dancer, smooth and careful. "This ship has been my prison for 3,000 years, but it was also a test. The crystal cage could only be broken by someone who chose to free me." Dr. Turner was taking readings with his scanner. The numbers on his screen were going crazy. "Jake, we need to get out of here. The whole ship is changing." "We can't leave," Lyra said. She looked at Dr. Turner but spoke to Jake. "The moment you kissed the crystal, you became bound to me. We are connected now. If you try to leave this ship, you will die." "That's impossible," said Amy. She had her gun ready, but didn't point it at Lyra. "You're just trying to scare us." Lyra smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Watch." She closed her eyes and Jake suddenly felt pain in his chest. It was like someone was squeezing his heart. "Stop," Jake said, falling to his knees. Lyra opened her eyes and the pain went away. "You feel what I feel now. If I am hurt, you are hurt. If I die, you die. This is the ancient law of the bonding." Captain Brown's voice came through their radios. "Jake, what's happening over there? Our computers show that ship is powering up." Jake touched his radio. "Captain, we have a problem. We woke someone up, and now we're stuck." Tom helped Jake stand up. "This is crazy. How can kissing someone make you connected to them?" "It is not the kiss," Lyra said. "It is the choice. Jake chose to free me when he could have walked away. The old technology read his mind at that moment. It saw that he was willing to help someone, even if it was dangerous." Dr. Turner was still scanning everything. "The energy in this room is off the charts. It's like the whole ship is alive now." Lyra walked to one of the walls. She put her hand on it and symbols appeared under her fingers. "This ship is called the Eternal Watch. It was built by my people, the Etherians, long before humans ever left their planet." "Where are your people now?" asked Jake. "Dead. Most of them." Lyra's voice became sad. My people ruled a big part of the galaxy once, but power made them cruel. They decided that other races were not important. They wanted to kill all the weak species and keep only the strong ones. She touched the wall again, and pictures appeared in the air. Jake saw images of beautiful cities and strange aliens. Then he saw wars and burning planets. I was a general in their army, Lyra continued. My job was to destroy the weak species, but when I saw what we were doing, I couldn't do it anymore. I saved as many as I could. I hid them on planets where my people would not look. What happened to you? Amy asked. My own people captured me. They put me in this crystal prison as punishment, but they also made it a test. They said if anyone ever proved that mercy still existed in the galaxy, I would be free. Jake was starting to understand. And when I kissed you, you proved it. You helped someone you didn't know just because you could. That broke the prison. But it also made you responsible for completing my mission. Dr. Turner looked up from his scanner. What mission? Lyra waved her hand and more pictures appeared. Jake saw planets with different alien species living on them. I hid many species across the galaxy. They have been safe for 3,000 years. But now that I am free, other Etherians will know. Some of them are still alive. They will try to finish what they started. So we have to protect these hidden planets? Jake asked. Yes. And there is something else you must know. Lyra looked directly at Jake. One of the species I saved was yours. Everyone stared at her. What do you mean? Tom asked. Humans are not from Earth originally. Your ancestors came from many different planets. When my people started their war, I gathered survivors and put them on Earth. I made them forget where they came from so they would be safe. Jake felt dizzy. You're saying humans are aliens? You are the children of many species. That is why you learn so fast. That is why you can adapt to any planet. You have the best parts of all the races I saved. Captain Brown's voice came through the radio again. Jake, other ships are coming. Big ones. They don't look friendly. Lyra's golden eyes got brighter. They have found us already. The Void Hunters, the last of my people who still believe in the old ways. They want to finish the genocide I stopped. Alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Red lights flashed on the walls. What do we do? Jake asked. Lyra put her hand on his shoulder. Jake felt a strange, tingling feeling. I will teach you to use the old technology. Through our bond, you can learn in minutes what took me years to master. I don't understand. Close your eyes and trust me. Jake closed his eyes. Suddenly, his mind was full of new information. He could see how the ship worked. He could feel the weapons and shields like they were part of his body. He understood things he had never seen before. When he opened his eyes, the room looked different. He could see energy flowing through the walls. He could hear the ship's computer thinking. This is incredible, he whispered. This is only the beginning, Lyra said. Now we must get your people to safety and prepare for war. Jake touched his radio. Captain, you need to move our ship away from here. We're about to have visitors. What about you? Jake looked at Lyra. She nodded. We're staying here. This ship has weapons that can protect us, but Captain, you need to call Earth. Tell them to get ready for something big. Jake, I'm not leaving you there. You have to. We'll be okay. Jake hoped he was telling the truth. Through the walls of the ship, Jake could feel other ships getting closer. Big ships with powerful weapons. Are you ready? Lyra asked. Jake took a deep breath. No, but let's do this anyway. Lyra smiled, and This time it was a real smile. "Now you sound like a warrior." The ship shook as the first enemy weapons hit the shields. The war was beginning. The Eternal Watch shook as enemy fire hit its shields. Jake held onto the wall while Lyra moved to what looked like a control panel. When she touched it, the panel came alive with lights and symbols. "Jake, come here," she said. "Put your hands where mine are." Jake walked over and placed his hands next to hers on the panel. The moment he touched it, he could feel the whole ship. It was like the ship was part of his body now. "I can feel everything," he said with wonder. "Good. Now think about the ships attacking us. Picture them in your mind." Jake closed his eyes, and suddenly he could see outside the ship. 3 large, black ships were firing red beams at them. The ships looked like giant insects with sharp edges. "Those are Void Hunter ships," Lyra said. "They have been looking for me for 3,000 years. How many people are on those ships?" "Each ship carries about 500 Void Hunters. They are what my people became after the war. They live only to destroy other species." Jake felt scared but also angry. These aliens wanted to hurt innocent people just because they were different. "What can we do against 3 ships?" Lyra smiled. "This ship was built for war. Watch and learn." She moved her hands on the panel and Jake felt weapons come online. The ship had guns that could destroy planets and shields that could stop almost anything. "Fire," Lyra said. Jake thought about the enemy ships and suddenly blue beams shot out from the Eternal Watch. One of the black ships exploded in a ball of fire. "We got one!" Jake shouted. But more ships were coming. Jake could feel them in space, getting closer. "How many more are there?" he asked. "Too many for us to fight alone. We need help." Captain Brown's voice came through the radio. "Jake, we see more ships coming out of hyperspace. At least 20 of them. Some look human." Human ships? Jake was confused. Lyra touched the wall, and pictures appeared in the air. "Word has spread quickly. Your people are coming to help, but so are others." Jake saw human military ships racing through space toward them, but there were also ships he didn't recognize. Some were beautiful and smooth. Others looked like they were made of living metal. "Who are they?" "Species I saved long ago. They remember what I did for them. They are coming to help us." Lyra looked worried. "But the Galactic Council is also coming. They want to stop us." "Why would they want to stop us?" "Because we represent change. For thousands of years, the galaxy has been divided. Each species stays in their own area and doesn't trust the others. If the hidden worlds wake up and unite, everything will change." The ship shook again as more enemy fire hit them. But now Jake could see human ships firing back at the Void Hunters. Admiral Kane Wright's voice came through the radio. "This is Admiral Wright of the Earth Defense Force. Unknown vessel, identify yourself." Jake looked at Lyra. She nodded. "Admiral, this is Jake Martinez. I'm human. The alien with me is friendly. She saved our species a long time ago." "Jake, this is Admiral Wright. We're here to help, but we need to know what we're fighting. The black ships want to destroy all the species that aren't like them. The other ships are here to help us. Copy that. All human ships, engage the black vessels." Jake watched through the ship's sensors as the battle spread out across space. Human ships were fighting alongside alien vessels he had never seen before. The Void Hunters were outnumbered, but their ships were very strong. "Jake," Lyra said, "there is something else you need to know. The bond between us has changed you." "What do you mean?" "Touch the panel again and think about the human ships." Jake put his hands on the panel and focused on the human vessels. Suddenly he could feel the minds of the human pilots. He could hear their thoughts and feel their emotions. "This is impossible," he whispered. "You are becoming a bridge between species. Through our bond, you can connect with others. This is why the ancient technology chose you." One of the human ships was in trouble. Jake could feel the pilot's fear. As Void Hunter ships surrounded him. "I have to help him," Jake said. "Then help him. Use the connection." Jake reached out with his mind to the pilot. "This is Jake. Turn left and dive. Trust me." The pilot's voice came back through their mental link. "Who is this? How are you in my head?" "Just trust me. Turn left now." The pilot turned his ship left, just as a Void Hunter beam shot through the space where he had been. "How did you know?" the pilot asked. "I can see the whole battle. All human ships, listen to me. I can guide you." For the next hour, Jake helped coordinate the human fleet. Through his connection with Lyra and the ancient technology, he could see everything happening in the battle. He guided ships away from danger and helped them target enemy weak spots. But the Void Hunters kept coming. For every ship they destroyed, 2 more appeared. "We can't keep this up," Admiral Wright said over the radio. "We're running out of ammunition." Lyra touched Jake's shoulder. "There is another way, but it is dangerous." "What?" "I can teach you to use the ancient weapons on this ship. They are powerful enough to destroy all the enemy ships at once, but using them will send a signal across the galaxy. Everyone will know where we are." "Will it save the human ships?" "Yes." Jake didn't hesitate. "Show me." Lyra guided his hands to a different part of the panel. This one felt different. It hummed with dangerous energy. "This weapon can destroy stars," she said. "But we will use only a small part of its power." Jake felt the weapon charging up. It was like holding lightning in his hands. "When you fire, aim between the enemy ships. The energy will spread out and disable them without killing everyone." "Why not just destroy them?" "Because mercy is what makes us different from them. If we kill when we don't have to, we become like the old Etherians." Jake understood. He aimed the weapon carefully and fired. A wave of blue energy spread out from the Eternal Watch. When it hit the Void Hunter ships, they stopped moving. Their weapons went silent and their engines shut down. "We did it," Jake said, but Lyra looked worried. "Now the real test begins. Ships are coming from all over the galaxy. Some will want to be our friends. Others will want to destroy us." Through the ship's sensors, Jake could see dozens of new ships arriving. The galaxy had noticed them now. "What do? We prepare for the next battle. But first we need to find the hidden worlds and wake them up. They need to know what's coming." Jake looked at the stars outside. Somewhere out there were planets full of people who didn't know they were in danger. "How many worlds did you hide?" 47. Each one has grown and changed over 3,000 years. Some have become very powerful. Others are still learning to use technology. "And they're all in danger now?" "Yes. The Void Hunters will try to find them all, but we won't let that happen." Jake felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Millions of people were counting on him, and he had never even left his home solar system before today. "I don't know if I'm strong enough for this." Lyra took his hand. Through their bond, he felt her strength and determination. "You freed me when you could have walked away. You chose to help the human ships when you could have saved yourself. You showed mercy to enemies who wanted to kill you. You are stronger than you know." Jake squeezed her hand. "Then let's go save the galaxy." 3 weeks had passed since the first battle. Jake stood in the command center of the Eternal Watch looking at a map of the galaxy. Red dots showed where the hidden worlds were located. Some of the dots were green now. Those were the worlds. They had already contacted. "How many more do we need to warn?" Jake asked. Lyra stood beside him, her golden eyes studying the map. 23 worlds are still sleeping, but the Void Hunters are moving faster now. They have found 3 worlds already. Jake felt sick. What happened to those worlds? We saved 2 of them in time. The 3rd one. Lyra's voice became quiet. We were too late. Jake remembered the burning planet they had found last week. An entire civilization destroyed just because they were different. It made him angry every time he thought about it. "We won't let it happen again," he said. Dr. Turner walked up to them. He had been studying the ancient technology for weeks. "Jake, I have some news about the bonding process. It's changing you in ways we didn't expect." "What do you mean?" "Your brain is developing new connections. You're becoming able to communicate with any species, not just humans. It's like you're becoming a universal translator." Jake had noticed this himself. When they visited the hidden worlds, he could understand everyone, even if they looked nothing like humans. "Is that bad?" "I don't think so. But it means you're becoming something new. Something that has never existed before." Admiral Wright's image appeared on the wall screen. He was calling from Earth. "Jake, we have a problem. The Galactic Council has declared you and Lyra to be dangerous. They're sending a fleet to stop you." "Why?" Jake asked. "We're trying to save people. Because you're changing the balance of power. Some species are afraid of what will happen if all the hidden worlds unite." Lyra touched the wall and brought up images of the Council fleet. Hundreds of ships from different species were heading toward them. "They're not all our enemies," she said. "Some of them are just scared, but others want to keep things the way they are." Jake felt tired. It seemed like everyone in the galaxy wanted to fight instead of working together. "There's something else," Admiral Wright continued. "We've been studying the data from the worlds you've contacted. The people there have developed incredible abilities." "What kind of abilities?" Dr. Turner pulled up files on his tablet. "The humans on Kepler-7 can control plants with their minds. The people on Ross 128 can see the future, and the species on Wolf 359 can share memories by touching each other." Jake was amazed. "How is that possible?" "It seems like being hidden for so long made them develop in new ways," Lyra said. "Each world adapted to survive. Some became very advanced with technology. Others developed mental powers. And now they're all waking up," Jake said. A new voice came through the communication system. It was Maya Singh, the leader of the colony on Kepler-7. "Jake, we have a problem here. Ships are approaching our system. They don't look friendly." Jake quickly connected to the Eternal Watch's sensors. He could see Void Hunter ships heading toward Kepler-7. "How many ships?" he asked. 15. Our defenses won't stop them." Jake looked at Lyra. "Can we get there in time?" "If we leave now, yes. But that means leaving the other worlds unprotected." This was the hardest part of their mission. They couldn't be everywhere at once. "Maya, can your people evacuate?" "Where would we go? This is our home. We've lived here for 3,000 years." Jake made a decision. "We're coming. Hold on as long as you can." The Eternal Watch jumped into hyperspace. As they traveled, Jake felt something strange happening. His connection to Lyra was getting stronger, but he could also feel other minds touching his. It was the people from the worlds they had contacted. "They're linking with you," Lyra said with wonder. "This has never happened before." Through the mental link, Jake could hear Maya and her people. He could feel their fear, but also their determination. They weren't going to give up without a fight. "Jake," Maya's voice came through the link, "we can share our abilities with you through the connection. Use our power to help us." Jake had never tried anything like this before, but he reached out with his mind, and suddenly he could feel the power of all the hidden worlds flowing through him. From Kepler-7, he gained the ability to control growing things. From Ross 128, he could see a few seconds into the future. From Wolf 359, he could share his thoughts instantly with anyone. "This is incredible," he whispered. When they arrived at Kepler-7, the Void Hunter ships were already attacking the planet, but Jake was ready for them. Using his new abilities, he could see what the enemy ships would do before they did it. He guided the Eternal Watch's weapons with perfect accuracy. Each shot hit exactly where it needed to. But the most amazing thing happened when the people on Kepler-7 joined the fight. They used their plant-controlling abilities to grow massive trees in space. The trees wrapped around the Void Hunter ships and held them still. "I didn't know plants could grow in space," Jake said. "They can if you believe they can," Maya said through their mental link. Working together, Jake and the colonists defeated the Void Hunter fleet in minutes. Not a single enemy ship escaped. "We won," Jake said, but he could feel through the mental network that other worlds were in danger. "This is only the beginning," Lyra said. "The real test is coming." She was right. Through their sensors, Jake could see the Galactic Council fleet arriving. But these weren't just warships. There were peaceful vessels, too. Some species wanted to talk, not fight. "Jake," Admiral Wright called. "There's someone here who wants to speak with you. Elder Kale of the Ethereal Council." An image appeared on the screen. It was an alien that looked like Lyra, but much older. His skin was pale gold, and his eyes were silver. "Young human," Elder Kale said, "you have awakened something that was meant to stay sleeping." "These people have a right to be free," Jake said. "Freedom and safety are not the same thing. My people learned this long ago. Your people tried to commit genocide. That's not safety, that's murder." Elder Kale was quiet for a moment. "You speak boldly for someone so young. But tell me, what will you do when the hidden worlds start fighting each other? What happens when their new powers corrupt them?" Jake hadn't thought about this. "We'll help them work together. And if they refuse, will you force them to be peaceful? That is what my people tried to do." Jake felt doubt creeping into his mind. Was he making the same mistakes the ancient Etherians had made? Through their bond, Lyra sent him strength and confidence. "The difference is choice," she said out loud. "We give people the choice to be better. Your people tried to force them." "We shall see," Elder Kale said. "But know this, if the hidden worlds become a threat to the galaxy, we will stop them." The connection ended. Jake looked around at his friends and allies. Dr. Turner was studying data from the awakened worlds. Admiral Wright was coordinating with the human fleet. Maya and the other colony leaders were working together through their mental link. "What do we do now?" Jake asked. "We prove them wrong," Lyra said. "We show the galaxy that different species can work together without conquest or control." Jake nodded. Through his connection to all the hidden worlds, he could feel their hope and determination. They wanted peace, not war. They wanted to build something better than what came before. "Then let's build a better galaxy," he said. But deep in his heart, Jake knew the hardest battles were still ahead of them. 6 months had passed since Jake first kissed the crystal prison. Now he stood on the observation deck of a massive space station that orbited between Earth and the hidden worlds. The station was called New Haven, and it was where representatives from 47 different worlds came to work together. Jake looked older now. His hair had silver streaks even though he was still young. The bond with Lyra and the connection to so many worlds had changed him. Dr. Turner said he might live for hundreds of years now, maybe longer. "Are you ready for this?" Lyra asked as she joined him at the window. Today was the day they would meet with the Galactic Council to decide the future of the galaxy. After months of small battles and negotiations, everyone was finally willing to talk instead of fight. "I'm nervous," Jake admitted. "What if we can't make them understand? Then we'll keep trying. That's what makes us different from my people in the old days. We don't give up on peace." They walked together to the main meeting hall. The room was huge, with representatives from hundreds of species. Jake could see humans, of course, but also the blue-skinned Etherians, the plant-like beings from Kepler-7, and dozens of other aliens he had met over the past months. Elder Kale sat at the center of the Galactic Council's table. He looked even older than before, but his silver eyes were still sharp. "We are here to decide what to do about the awakened worlds," he said in a voice that carried across the room. "Some say they are a threat. Others say they are the future. Today we will hear from both sides." General Roy Bell stood up from the human delegation. He was a big man with scars on his face from old battles. "The hidden worlds have power that could destroy us all. We should control them before they control us." Many aliens nodded in agreement. Jake could feel their fear through his mental connections. But Maya Singh stood up from the Kepler-7 delegation. "We don't want to control anyone. We just want to live in peace and help others." "That's what they all say," said Admiral Zex from the Rigel Empire. "But power corrupts. We have seen it happen before." The debate went on for hours. Some species wanted to put limits on the hidden worlds. Others wanted to destroy them completely. A few supported Jake and Lyra's plan for cooperation. Finally, Elder Kale called for quiet. "We have heard many words today, but words are easy. Actions show the truth. Jake Martinez, you have been bonded to Lyra for months now. Tell us, what have you learned?" Jake stood up slowly. Everyone in the room was looking at him. Through his mental connections, he could feel the hope and fear of billions of people across the galaxy. "I've learned that fear makes us stupid," he said. 6 months ago, I was just an archaeologist who made bad jokes. I didn't know anything about galactic politics or ancient wars. All I knew was that someone needed help, so I helped them." He looked around the room. "That's what humans do. That's what all good people do, no matter what species they are. We help each other." "But what about power?" asked Admiral Zex. "Your bonding has made you incredibly strong. You could destroy any of our worlds if you wanted to." "Yes, I could," Jake said honestly. "But I don't want to. That's the difference. The old Etherians had power and used it to hurt people. We have power, and we're using it to protect people." Elder Kale leaned forward. "And what happens when you die, young human? Who will control this power then?" Jake smiled. "That's the best part. The power doesn't belong to me. It belongs to everyone." He reached out with his mind, and suddenly everyone in the room could feel the mental network that connected all the hidden worlds. They could sense the thoughts and emotions of people from dozens of different species. "This is what we've built," Jake said. "Not an empire or a dictatorship. A family. When I die, The network will still be here. It will choose new guardians, people who care more about helping others than controlling them. The room was very quiet. Many of the aliens looked amazed. They had never felt anything like the mental network before. "This could be the future," Maya said softly. "Not one species ruling over others, but all species working together." Elder Kyle closed his eyes for a long moment. Through the network, Jake could feel the old aliens' memories. He saw the ancient Etherian Empire at its height, beautiful and terrible. He saw the wars and the destruction that followed. "I am very old," Elder Kale said finally. "I have seen empires rise and fall. I have seen species destroy each other out of fear. But I have never seen anything like this network of yours." He stood up slowly. "The Ethereal Council has made a decision. We will not oppose the awakened worlds, but we also will not join them. We are too old and too set in our ways. This is a path for younger species to walk." Many aliens in the room started talking at once. Some were angry. Others were excited. "However," Elder Kale continued, "we will be watching. If this experiment in cooperation fails, if the awakened worlds become conquerors like my people once were, we will act to stop them." Jake nodded. "That's fair. But I don't think you'll need to worry." President Rachel Stone of Earth stood up. "The United Earth Government officially recognizes the Awakened Worlds Alliance. We pledge to work with them for peace and mutual protection." One by one, other species announced their decisions. About half chose to join the alliance. The others decided to wait and see what happened. After the meeting, Jake and Lyra stood together on the observation deck again. Through the window, they could see ships from dozens of worlds working together to build new space stations and colonies. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Jake asked. "I think we did the only thing we could do. We gave people a choice." Jake felt the mental network humming in his mind. Millions of people across the galaxy were connected now, sharing ideas and helping each other solve problems. It wasn't perfect. There were still arguments and disagreements, but people were talking. Instead of fighting, "What happens now?" he asked. "Now we explore. There are other galaxies out there, other species that might need help. The network is growing stronger every day. Soon we'll be able to reach across the void between galaxies." Jake thought about that. The idea of exploring beyond their own galaxy was exciting and terrifying at the same time. "Will you come with me?" Lyra smiled, and for the first time since he met her, she looked truly happy. "I've been alone for 3,000 years. I'm not going anywhere without you." Through their bond, Jake felt her love and gratitude, but he also felt something else, hope, real hope for the future. "You know," he said with a grin, "when I kissed you in that crystal prison, I was just trying to impress my friends." "I know," Lyra laughed. "That's what made it work. You weren't trying to be a hero or save the galaxy. You were just being yourself." "Kind, foolish, and brave." "So you're saying my terrible sense of humor saved the galaxy?" "Your terrible sense of humor gave the galaxy a chance to save itself." They stood together watching the stars. Somewhere out there were new worlds to discover and new species to meet. There would be new challenges and new dangers, but for the first time in galactic history, they wouldn't face those challenges alone. They would face them together, as a family of species united not by conquest, but by choice. Jake squeezed Lyra's hand. "Ready for the next adventure?" "With you, always." The Eternal Watch undocked from New Haven Station and headed toward the edge of the galaxy. Behind them, the network of awakened worlds continued to grow and thrive. Ahead of them lay the unknown, infinite possibilities among the stars. Jake Martinez had started as a joking archaeologist who thought he was just exploring an old ship. Now he was a guardian of galactic peace, bonded to an ancient warrior and connected to millions of minds across space. But in his heart, he was still the same person who chose to help a prisoner he didn't know, just because it seemed like the right thing to do. And in a galaxy full of fear and suspicion, that simple human kindness had changed everything.